Today we're talking about another tongue piercing, so here's the scoop. The scoop piercing is a surface piercing on the top side of the tongue. We're not talking the snake eyes at the tip of the tongue. This is on the top side of the surface. The scoop piercing can be done either horizontally or vertically. That basically means front to back or side to side. Now, traditionally, you're going to see more side to sides than the front to back. I'm not a huge fan of this one because it does connect the muscle tissue. And the other one, front to back, vertically, does have a high rejection rate as well. So, kind of tough to heal this one up. Now, as far as the jewelry goes, like I said, you want to use a curved barbell. That's a 14 gauge, and you're going to want to stick to some sort of a titanium or some sort of a proper implant grade metal bead. Stay away from anything that's going to have opals on there, any softer stones, because if you still bite down on those, you could chip those stones or do more damage to your teeth. Now, this piercing, you have to give room for any swelling, which means, of course, you have to downsize after probably several weeks, probably 2 to 4 weeks, depending on how your piercing heals up. The tongue typically is a pretty fast healer, and the scoop piercing is no exception. Typically, you're looking about a month, maybe 2 months, and you should be all the way healed up. But there can be problems, and there can be a lot of extra irritation. Now, like I said earlier, sometimes you're going side to side, you're connecting the two muscles together, your tongue moves a lot, so it's going to stay irritated and it can reject out. Now, the good news is tongues typically don't scar that much. Of the piercings I've seen that have rejected out, typically those taste buds come back and it doesn't leave too much of a scar. That's not to say that it won't. So if it's rejecting, definitely take it out. Now, this goes with either the vertical or the horizontal, so keep your eye on the piercing, and it's not a bad idea to measure the distance between those holes every couple weeks just to make sure it's not rejecting. Because when you look at it on a day-to-day basis, you're not going to see you losing a millimeter a day until it's too late. The fact that you can do this either vertically or horizontally could change the difficulty level of this piercing. So I don't know where this is going to be. Let's check out the painometer. It seems to be teetering between those two. And I believe that's because the vertical is going to be a little bit more of a difficult piercing, take a little bit longer, so it's more awkward having your tongue out. But still not that high up, so it's not very painful. It's just an awkward piercing to get. Typically, I like the really rare piercings, but the fact that this one has such a high rejection rate scares me. I'm not a big fan of it just because of the amount of problems. I like piercings that are going to be a good, solid heal. Even though it might take a long time, it still will heal. These have such a high rejection rate that I personally don't even offer this as a service. So I'm not a big fan of this piercing. Now, the good news is it typically doesn't do a lot of damage. It's just a tough one to heal. So keep your eye on this piercing if you decide to get it. If you heal it up, let me know, because I don't see a lot of healed ones, and that means you're in the minority on this one. But congratulations on healing this. If you enjoyed my video, make sure to give me a like. And if you're new here, make sure to subscribe. And of course, keep putting holes in your body. We'll see you all in the next video.